Oh, hey, Mr. Saturn. You know, it seems like you're pretty famous. I'm pretty sure you could be called like the poster child of the Mother series.
Oh yeah, zoom, boing, what's joy? Zoom!
But I was wondered, is your name Mr. Saturn, or is your breed called Mr. Saturn? And how is your species in Earthbound and Mother 3, which spans across two different timelines, but both groups are secluded and neither explain what you are or where you come from? And are you super smart or do you have trouble speaking? Are we just reading your words like that, or do you have an accent? So anyway, who do I talk to about getting a Mr. Saturn hat for my collection? Hello, Earthbound fans, new and old. Today I would like to dig into what exactly a Mr. Saturn is, where he came from, and what their entire timeline of events consists of. And my hope is that by the end of this video, you have a new appreciation of who Mr. Saturn are. Like always with my Earthbound theories, I appreciate your feedback, so leave all the thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel fit, and come hang around for further theories and Earthbound related videos. Before I get started, I would like to say there are spoilers for Earthbound as well as Mother 3, so if you haven't completed both games, pause this video and come back when you have. Or if you don't care about spoilers, stick around. I really don't care. Alright, enough time for disclaimers. Okay, on to the story of Mr. Saturn. The Mr. Saturn are an alien race that seeks seclusion. They are a very intelligent yet shy species that found a place of refuge in what is now referred to as Saturn Valley, a small clearing in the mountains near Grapefruit Falls in Eagleland. The Mr. Saturn built structures that resembled the buildings of their home planet and lived off the land as farmers. As time progressed, they created unique types of meals, using what they had around. Items consisting of peanut cheese bar and fly honey, to name a few. Meanwhile, in deep darkness, nearly halfway around the world, a strange race of putrid puke lives that feed off sludge and grow slowly, eventually becoming what appears to be a large glob of puke. At the start of Earthbound, Gygas's influence starts spreading across Eagleland and Chomo. Once it reaches deep darkness, the strongest of the puke piles, Belch, swears his allegiance to Gygas and becomes one of his most esteemed minions. In exchange for his allegiance, Gygas guides him to follow the waterways, and he ends up in a vast crevasse behind a waterfall, the perfect location for Belch, who now goes by Master Belch. The location was not only secluded, but had two benefits. For one, it was close to Threed, a large town with 1,500 people, which lies directly near the region's largest cemetery. The second reason being its vicinity to Saturn Valley, with a population of over 5,000 intelligent beings that weren't capable of fighting back, whom would be perfect for a slave population. Once settled, Belch was given directions by Gygas to release the dead from the massive cemetery in the form of zombies on Threed, flooding the village with the walking dead and forcing its residents to lock themselves inside. The only tunnel connecting Threed and Belch's lair in Saturn Valley was filled with strong minions of Belch's in order to block all access from anyone brave enough to fight Belch's army. With the location secure and protected, Belch swooped down to the defenseless Mr. Saturn. He forced them to construct his factory, but little did he know his greed would seal his horrible fate. When the Mr. Saturn were building the factory, Belch learned of the fly honey, a specialty of Mr. Saturn and a weakness of Master Belch. He became obsessed with the honey, doing anything to get his hands on it. And that's where our heroes come in. We play through the events that follow. Mr. Saturn are captured by Belch, and only Ness, Paul, and Jeff are strong enough to reach Belch inside his factory, and, using the fly honey as distraction, defeat him easily. With Belch out of the way, the Mr. Saturn can then work to rebuild the community. And on top of that, Dr. and Donuts and Apple Kid learned of Mr. Saturn and their abilities, as there is now access to that part of the world through the tunnel in Threed. Belch, licking his wounds, makes his way back to where he came from in deep darkness, where he will eventually meet up with the hero crew later in the game. While the heroes continue on their mission in saving the world, the Mr. Saturn work with Dr. and Donuts and Apple Kid to start creating inventions for the betterment of the world. Meanwhile, Gygas finds out about Belch's failure and, displeased, sends out some starmen to investigate what happened. They find Belch in the swamps of deep darkness and get his side of the story. Belch explains to the starmen what incredible abilities Mr. Saturn have. The starmen jet off after Mr. Saturn. Belch remains demoted, but begins to train to once again fill his seat as Master Belch. After a good amount of time progresses, the heroes encounter Belch in the swamp. There he has gotten more powerful, but is still no match for the heroes and falls once again, forever admitting defeat and is never heard from again. Aside from metaphysically, like in Magicant, but that's a video for a different time. The heroes make their way through Tenda Village and are called back to Winners, where they find out that the Starmen have not only kidnapped Mr. Saturn, but Dr. and Donuts and Apple Kid as well, as they are being held captive in the underground lair. The heroes are able to save them and then travel to the lost underworld, eventually making their way back to Saturn Valley. It is at this point that they find that Dr. Andonuts, Apple Kid, and Mr. Saturn have put their heads together and created a time machine that will take the heroes to another dimension and time to defeat Gaius. Before they can get the machine to work though, they must once again travel to Onet to get a piece of the meteorite to power the machine. The Mr. Saturn are very familiar with the element because they are, after all, aliens. Long story short, the heroes save the day and their souls return to their bodies for everyone to live happily ever after. However, it is not happily ever after, or at least not for Mr. Saturn. Though some of them stay and are indeed as happy as a warthog on Mud Day, some of them are not as fortunate. Following the events we see in Earthbound, Porky is now traveling across space and time in search of a place where he can be all-powerful. He eventually ends up at the Tasmania Islands, but not before making a couple stops. In another video, I thought that Porky only kidnapped Dr. Donuts because, well, frankly, I didn't think it a step further, but it's clear that he also kidnapped a couple of Mr. Saturn. Again, these unlucky guys just don't have much of a defense. For years, they worked alongside Dr. Donuts to create a number of gadgets for Porky. Eventually, a portion of their population either escaped or no longer was needed by Porky and made their way to a secluded area where they set up a village that reminds them of their home in Saturn Valley and Earthbound. They'll probably never have a chance to reunite with their family and friends, but they do have one reminder of their last home, and it's a small badge, given to them as a gift for helping the heroes save the day many, many years ago. The good old Franklin badge to protect them and pass on to the next hero when he needs it most. One may say that the Mr. Saturn are the real heroes of the Mother franchise, and for that I think they deserve to be the mascot, for no other reason that they are so darn cute. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Did you know that the Mr. Saturn's unique way of talking and writing was said to be inspired by Shigesato Itoi's younger daughter's handwriting? That's neat, huh? Now if you knew that, comment waka waka below. Why not? As always, if you have any input, drop down in the comment section, and please leave a like. I enjoy making these Earthbound videos, and I really want to make more. Time is not in my favor these days. It's kind of a busy existence, so I'm trying my best to get them out when I can. So thanks for the patience. Remember, fuzzy pickles, everyone.